Red Bull sells an energy drink, but honestly, that's probably the least interesting thing Red Bull does, because this is also a company that owns Formula One teams, football clubs, media operations. They sponsor people jumping off mountains, racing planes, riding motorcycles through the air, basically doing things your mother would beg you not to do. And then in 2012, they sent a man almost 40 kilometers above the earth and told him to jump, which raises a pretty ridiculous question. What the hell does any of this have to do with an energy drink? Because once you understand the answer, you start to understand why Red Bull became one of the greatest marketing machines ever built. And strangely enough, this whole thing starts in Thailand. Before there was Red Bull, there was Krating Daeng, a Thai energy drink that became popular with workers, drivers, and people who basically needed something to keep them going through long hours. Then an Austrian businessman named Dietrich Mateschitz encountered the drink while traveling in Asia, and he saw something in it, something bigger. Mateschitz eventually went into business with Thai businessman Chaleo Yoovidhya. They adapted the drink for Western consumers, carbonated it, put it inside that skinny blue and silver can, and in 1987, Red Bull launched in Austria. Now, here's where things get interesting, because they weren't simply introducing another soft drink. Europeans already understood Coke. They understood coffee, they understood juice. But this? What exactly was this? It's not really a soda, it's not coffee, it's not juice. So what are you selling? Energy. How do you even advertise that? And this is where Red Bull gets clever. Instead of spending decades explaining what an energy drink was, they started showing people what energy looked like. Nightclubs, youth culture, adventure, speed, danger, extreme sports, places where energy was already happening. And the strategy was almost embarrassingly simple. If you repeatedly see this little silver can beside people doing extraordinary things, eventually your brain connects the two. Red Bull, speed, Red Bull, risk, Red Bull, youth, Red Bull, performance, Red Bull, wings. Nobody actually needs to tell you this beverage represents adventure. Your brain does the work for them. That's powerful marketing. But Red Bull was about to take this idea much, much further. Because most companies sponsor culture, Red Bull started creating it. Take Formula One. Normally a drinks company would pay somebody to put its logo on a racing car. Perfectly normal sponsorship. Red Bull eventually looked at that arrangement and basically said, oh, why don't we just own the racing team? So they did. In 2004, Red Bull bought Jaguar Racing from Ford. And in 2005, Red Bull Racing entered Formula One. Think about how insane that sentence actually is. A company that sells canned drinks owns a Formula One team, but psychologically, it makes perfect sense. Because every time that car screams around a circuit, Red Bull isn't interrupting the entertainment. Red Bull is the entertainment, and that difference is everything. The philosophy spread everywhere. Snowboarding, motocross, cliff diving, skateboarding, air racing, football, athletes, events, films, media. At some point, Red Bull stopped looking like a beverage company that happened to advertise through sport and started looking like a cultural company that happened to sell beverages. And then came the moment where this philosophy reached its absolutely ridiculous conclusion. October 14th, Roswell, New Mexico. A massive helium balloon began carrying an Austrian skydiver named Felix Baumgartner toward the stratosphere, higher and higher and higher until he was roughly 39 kilometers above Earth. Baumgartner opened the capsule door. Below him, our entire planet curved into darkness. Millions of people were watching, and then he stepped off. He fell toward Earth. During that descent, Baumgartner became the first human to break the speed of sound in freefall without a vehicle. Now, just think about this for a second. Red Bull could have spent that money producing thousands of normal advertisements, people holding cans, beautiful models, billboards, television commercials. Red Bull gives you wings. We've all seen it. Instead, they helped a human being fall from the edge of space. and the entire world voluntarily watched the advertisement, except it didn't feel like an advertisement. It felt like history, and that's the trick. Red Bull had understood something incredibly important about human attention. People hate being advertised to. But people love stories. They love danger, heroes, competition, impossible achievements, beautiful machines, people attempting things that probably shouldn't be attempted. So Red Bull stopped asking, how do we interrupt people's entertainment to sell them a drink? And started asking, what if we make the entertainment? That's a completely different question, and apparently it worked. In 2025 alone, Red Bull says it sold nearly 14 billion cans worldwide. 14 billion little silver cans. But here's what fascinates me. The chemistry inside those cans isn't enough to explain the mythology surrounding them, because Red Bull built something around the product, a world. And inside that world, people are faster, braver, younger, more reckless, more alive. They race cars, jump from cliffs, fly aircraft, climb mountains, fall from space, and then, somewhere quietly in the middle of all that insanity, sits the product, a little silver can. Maybe that's what the greatest brands eventually understand. Human beings don't only buy objects, we buy little pieces of the people we imagine ourselves becoming. The watch doesn't only tell time. The shoe isn't only protecting your feet. The car isn't merely transporting your body. And perhaps the energy drink isn't really selling energy. It's selling the fantasy that somewhere inside you there is still enough life left to grow wings. Artifact 9, a Damon Goya art house transmission. Art, technology, culture,